It was closer than it needed to be, but Justin Simmons' interception in the end zone sealed the deal for the Broncos as they pick up their 4th win of the season, 20-13 the final. Hello, and thank you for joining us for the Broncos Postgame Show. I'm Phil Milani alongside Eric Dalala. Sidney Jones will be along in just a second. But Eric, Melvin Gordon heading into the end zone, going to put the game away, fumbles the ball, and of course, it wouldn't be a Broncos game if it wasn't a nail-biter right down to the wire.
Yeah, Phil, the Broncos had a chance to put it away there. I actually thought they had, some good possessions there in the second half. The offense turned around, but they did need that late interception from Justin Simmons. This defense made plays all day, Phil. 6 sacks, forced a bunch of 3-and-outs. Tua Tagovailoa was kind of the star of the NFL, the darling coming into this game. He wasn't able to do very much on Sunday. Ryan Fitzpatrick replaced him there for a couple of final drives. He ended up 12 of 18, 117 yards, actually outperformed Tua despite playing a lot fewer snaps. But like you said, Phil, Justin Simmons coming up big, and then Drew Lock to Tim Patrick for some style points there at the end.
Why do you think that the Broncos defense was able to have so much success against Tua and that Dolphins offense? 6 sacks, like you mentioned there, just really getting pressure on him all game long.
Yeah, I think they picked good times to send extra guys. I think some of it has to do with Tua's youth, that maybe he wasn't quite ready for some of that. Vic Fangio, we know, Phil, really good against first-year quarterbacks, both as a head coach and defensive coordinator. I think he confused Tua a little bit, but these guys just won one-on-one matchups. Malik Reed, 1.5 sacks. Deshaun Williams, 2 sacks. Bradley Chubb added another one. DeMarcus Walker got one. It was just guys all over the field making plays. And that's what we haven't seen in recent weeks. And when we saw it today, it ended up working out pretty well, just 3 second-half points for the Dolphins.
On the offensive side of the ball, Drew Lock and company, they found the end zone in the first half. Haven't seen that in a couple of weeks. And they actually were leading heading into the locker room at halftime. Drew Lock, a slow first series, but then started to ease in, and the offense didn't look too shabby.
No, first halftime lead since a Week 6 game in New England. It's been a long time, Phil, so definitely a welcome sight there. Now, I thought the turning point of the game came on just the 3rd drive. Drew Lock was 0 for 5. He'd thrown an interception. He looked just as shaky as he did last week against the Raiders. And then he hits a 3rd and 10 to KJ Hamler for 15 yards. They go down. They score on that possession. And from there, I think the Broncos scored on 3 of their next 4 possessions, even though a couple of them were just field goals. He didn't make those mistakes in the second half. They were able to add another touchdown drive there in the 3rd quarter. He wasn't stellar by any means, just 18 of 30 for 270 yards, 61 of which came on a final play where he just kind of flung it up there. But he was good enough to win today, and that's what you need from him.
Yeah, and the Broncos doing enough to get the win, and that's really all that matters. 20-13, the final. Let's go to Sidney Jones for a post-game interview here.
We're checking in with Justin Simmons after the Broncos' 20-13 win over the Dolphins. You guys handed Miami their first loss in 6 games. Justin, how does it feel?
I felt great. Especially after the last kind of like 2 weeks, we've been losing, and it just hasn't been a great feeling. So it's nice to get back home, and I felt like we put together an all-around a clean game. Obviously, stuff you wish you had back on all 3 phases, but all together is a clean game, and it's just exciting to get a win.
Yeah, another win at home for you guys. What was the mood like in the locker room after the game? What did Coach Fangio talk to you guys about after the win?
Oh, it was electric. He just talked about, what we talk about every time, we win. He loves how, kind of weathering the storm through this whole year. Everything that's going on, different adversity that we've as a team have been facing, and just loves our effort and energy. And, there's a lot of things and growing pains that we're going through, but, through it all, just battling, just a team that battles. And so that was the thing that, the message that he kind of brought home to us. And it was, it's just a great locker room vibe, from everyone in there.
Yeah, I can't even imagine. Now, Justin, you had a clutch game-saving interception with just over a minute left in the game. I mean, you jumped in front of Devontae Parker in the end zone. Walk me through that play. What was going through your head?
Yeah, first it was the quarterback. Knowing Fitzpatrick is in there. I mean, he's a guy that we've seen throughout the NFL for so long that he just has such a gunslinger mentality. And obviously he got them to that position to be able to win the game. And so in my head, I'm thinking it's a shot to the end zone for sure. We got to make a play. This is a 4th down territory for them. We got to make a play here, whatever it takes. And so obviously Devontae Parker, one of their, highest targeted guys. And it was just great. It was great coverage and great rush. I think he felt the pressure of the rush, maybe got rid of it without fully looking at what we had. I'm not 100% sure, but and then just making a play on the football. That's what it comes down to. And our guys were battling all day. So and they moving the ball pretty well on us. So we had to make a play.
Mm-hmm. Well, Coach Fangio said after the game that it was poetic justice that you were able to get the game winner after your first one was called back. How did it feel to get that interception after, your first one was overturned?
Yeah, obviously I was bummed, but it was more of just like a dang, that's really a momentum killer for the team. As great as it would have been, obviously, for a single individual accolade, the fact is, we just threw a pick and then we answer with a pick. I mean, that gives our team so much momentum. Our offense, kind of like a fresh start. They got our back type of deal. So that was the thing that was the most disappointing. But obviously, at the end of the game, we kept talking about we just got to make a play, whatever it is, a sack, fumble, interception, big pass breakup. We got to be able to make a play on the ball down here, and that's what we would do. It was a great team effort.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned it earlier. The defense was on one today. 6 sacks, your interception. You guys held the Dolphins to 223 total yards and just, I think, 3 second-half points. How proud are you of your guys' performance today?
I thought we fought hard, and that's the thing you always want to have is kind of like as your staple, as your foundation, is just being able to battle. And we hit obviously they're a good football team. They have a lot of great players. And then when Fitzpatrick came in, I mean he's a guy who's been doing it for a long time. He's a great player, and so we were just battling all day. They're obviously a great offensive team. They're going to make some plays, but as a defense, especially at home, we got to be able to generate a lot of our momentum and energy. And that's just what we were able to do. We won more of our matchups today than we lost them. And that was why we played so well.
Yeah, you mentioned your high energy and momentum. How important is it to continue to ride that heading into a Saints matchup next week?
It's extremely important. It's what makes the game so much fun, because obviously there's different flows and ebbs of the game, and you got to be able to carry the momentum and then also seize it, kind of take it back over, and it's just a big hitting point for us. And so when the offense is moving the ball down the field against a really good defense and they're able to come up with any type of points, it's really good momentum for the defense, us, to be able to come out there, get a 3 and out, put our offense right back on the field, get them right back in that rhythm. And so those are the things that we keep trying to hit home on. And like I said, it's never perfect, but the most important thing was just finding a way to win. And then we got to make sure that keeps going against the Saints next week.
Absolutely. All right, Justin, thank you so much for your time, and congrats on the win today.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you very much, Sydney. The Broncos getting the win today, 20-13. Not many people were giving the Broncos a chance in this one, but they got the job done. Eric, where do you think this team goes from here?
Well, I think first you got to reflect on how great of a victory this was. I mean, the Broncos had problems turning the ball over, and they still did today. They lost the turnover battle again, but it wasn't quite as bad. But against a team like the Dolphins that shows a bunch of different things on defense, that had created so many turnovers, against a quarterback like Tua Tagovailoa, who'd been successful in the red zone and had made a lot of plays starting 4-0 in his career, I think everything was just kind of set up for this game to not go so well for the Broncos. It wasn't, Dolphins were 6-3. They had a chance to win their division still. This was a game where if the Broncos showed up flat, you kind of would have understood that. And, the fact that they didn't do that signifies to me that maybe there's still some life in this season. And, you got the Taysom Hill-led Saints coming in next week. Who knows if you're able to get a win then. But I think this team shows it's going to continue to fight. The defense is going to build on what it's done earlier this year. And Drew Lock, even after 4 interceptions last week, proves that, hey, he's not done fighting to be the long-term quarterback just yet.
Yeah, overcame that early interception, and the Broncos defense absolutely dominant. They can have a chance to celebrate this win and then get back to work here on a holiday week for the Broncos as they get set to host the Saints. But let's enjoy this one for tonight. The Broncos get the victory, 20-13, the final. That's going to do it for us. For Eric Kalala and Cindy Jones, I'm Phil Milani. This has been the Broncos Postgame Show.